Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Jen and my husband Grant broke his foot about a year ago, and I wanted to do an update on that and share what his broken foot journey was like for anybody out there who may have broken a bone and is wondering what the recovery is going to be like. He broke his foot while standing on a log, clearing big logs out of an overgrown hedge that we'd had trimmed. There were big chunks of logs that had fallen down into the branches, and he was dislodging those. He was doing it maybe not so sensibly, standing on a log wearing Crocs, and he was pushing them mostly away from himself, but one ricocheted, I think, off a branch and fell on his foot. So he had the log there, he was standing there, and the branch fell and smashed his foot like that on the edge of the log and broke it good and proper. So here are a bunch of clips that he filmed as he went through the healing process, and then at the end of the video we're going to just film a little update on any lasting effects and what it's like 1 year after breaking his foot. So what is your story?
Not only have I got an injured wrist, now I've got an injured my foot.
Clearing out the logs from the hedge cutting, and a massive log fell on his foot. Look at that.
Oh,
so we're right back to the hospital for x-rays today because those logs are like mega heavy.
Very frustrating.
What do you have to say for yourself?
I just feel so stupid. What an idiot.
It's not your fault.
It's the log's fault.
It's gravity's fault.
Ah.
That's what accidents are. It's nobody's fault. It's an accident.
It's just my wrist is getting better, and now I've gone and done that to the foot. Dummy.
Dude, that does not look good. Like, it's all scraped up there.
Yeah.
And then
Swelling up that side, that's the worry.
yeah, I need to get ice back on that. Back home again. Apparently the torn ligament in his wrist was not enough. Tell us your story, mister. Actually, show us the x-rays.
What do you have to see?
Yeah. He has broken his foot and done a really good job of it as well. Hold on, it's glaring. So, you see there? So there was talk about him having to have surgery, but they think that he won't have to. So 8 weeks in a cast with crutches.
Oh, it's not a cast. It's
Well, a whatever,
moon boot.
moon boot.
Can you see it swelling?
Yeah, looks like a club foot. Oh, like an actual club on the end of your leg.
And it's quite bruised, eh?
Yeah, man, that's awful. I think you need to put your boot back on.
Yeah.
Poor little bunny.
It's been very frustrating. I'm only on day 2. Because I'm normally so busy.
Yeah, he's been plotting on how he can get on the roof and finish painting
No,
it.
that was just a joke.
Oh, but it was just a joke. The cripple has asked for the camera. What is?
I haven't moved
He hasn't moved.
the last few days.
Yeah, one of his legs is... Well, one of your legs would end up skinnier than the other if you actually moved anywhere. Taking Hopalong Cassidy to the doctor, but he can't even get into the garage with his crutches, so I have to pick him up outside. Yep. Dude, that's as far back as a seat can go.
Oh, really? Thanks.
How many movies have you watched now?
That must be close to
I think he's
double figures.
He's like reached the end of Netflix.
It's been 1 week since I broke my foot, and thought I'd give you an update. It's been a pretty difficult week actually, because not much sleep. Well, saying that, last night I had the first good sleep in the whole week. So I went to the doctor yesterday and she's upped my pain medication, so I really dosed up last night and feel a lot better. Got her some sleep last night, and here's my foot. I don't know if you can see the side. So my foot's still quite swollen and bruised and pretty sore. I spend most of the day sitting here on the couch with my foot up. I've been watching a lot of Netflix shows, and I wanted to show you my walking boot. Where did that go? I spend most of the day with my moon boot or my walking boot on. There it is. Only time I really have it off is when I go bath, or after the bath I let my foot dry. The walking boot is designed to, it's got like a bend to it, so it's designed to put pressure on when you're able to, but this first week I've just kept my foot up in the air. It's just too sore, and I can't even this moment consider putting my foot on the ground, because at the first few days, even in bed, when I'd move my foot in the walking boot, you could feel the bones crunching inside there, the broken bone, so that was horrible. What I do find pretty difficult is carrying anything, because any time you go anywhere you're on your crutches hopping along, and you don't have any spare hands to carry anything. So I normally put like my clothes, if I'm going to the bath, I put my clothes in my mouth and I hop along to the bath. Right, I'm going to put my walking boot on, and I thought I'd demonstrate how I get in and out the bath, which in the beginning I was on my hands and knees trying to climb over the bath, and I was just a scary mess, but now we've come up with a plan which works, so I thought I'd share it in case anyone else goes through this, and it actually it's changed my week, because so much easier getting in and out of the bath now. Okay, I've got the walking boot on. This is actually the first day that I'm able to actually rest my foot on the floor, because before that it was way too painful, just any little pressure on the base of my foot. But yeah, it's progressing, so that sounds good, that it's healing a bit, that I can rest my foot down, which is a bit of a relief. Right, I'm going to go show you how I get into the bath and out. Don't worry, I'm not going to get naked. This is actually...
Got your crutches.
Yeah, this is actually Jen's idea that that helps me get in and out the bath. So anyway, I normally bring my clothes, as I said, in my mouth, and I throw them on the ground. I bring my towel, so everything's normally ready in the bath. And so instead of going down on my knees and trying to climb over the bath, which was very difficult, now we've put this little stool here. I'll just put this there. Okay, put the bath mat on the floor, get undressed, which actually having a stool here is a lot easier to do, and to take the boot off is a lot easier to do while I'm sitting here rather than on the floor. And then I use this as a knee rest, and then you can climb in with the knee rest and bring this foot over carefully, and there we go.
Obviously you'll be naked when you do it properly though.
Yeah, that's another video. That's for another video. This, not this one. And then anyway, finished, and then we reverse. You can reverse. And again, using this here so you're not hopping around without your crutches, and when it's no boot on it's pretty scary because you're quite vulnerable. So here, and then you can use the towel and dry off, etc. And then when you're finished, there we go.
The end.
There we have it. So my theory on upping the pain medication is obviously not working, because last night I couldn't sleep again. I was in bed by 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. came around and I'm still wide awake, and well, I'm tired, but I just can't sleep because I'm in too much pain. So maybe I just slept the previous night nicely because I'd just exhausted from 6 nights of no sleep. So anyway, maybe that's the pattern then, just no sleep, no sleep, no sleep, and then you finally sleep.
Grant
I didn't ask for the fit, I asked how
is
much it
watching
was.
Pretty Woman by himself in the lounge.
What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that this movie predates our relationship, which is over 20 years long. How's your foot doing?
I It gets to this time and it starts throbbing. I don't know
Is that why you've been staying up late? Because if
Yeah,
it's throbbing, you're not going
I
to be able
just
to
go
sleep.
I lie down and it's like a weird feeling. Like it's, you know, if you stop the blood through, like it gets pins and needles, like that kind of.
Dude, that's what it's like having swollen feet
Yeah.
when you're pregnant. And
Oh.
I always just thought, oh, that's unattractive. But it's actually painful and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's not good. Okay, you just sit there with your swollen foot and watch Pretty Women along with pregnant women the world over. Tonight's movie of choice for Grant is a Christmas movie. So we've gone from Pretty Woman and romances and now you're watching Christmas movies.
That's a Christmas romance. What's wrong?
It's March, that's what's wrong. Scraping the barrel.
A little bit.
How are you feeling?
Is there a word called despondent?
Yes.
Yeah.
Aww. I feel sorry for you. He overdid it. You know, when he was driving, that wasn't all he did that day. He was... What else were you doing? Yesterday?
No, we went to the shop
Oh yeah, you were crotching around the shop.
and I think it was just because I had a lot of the time my foot down instead of sitting watching Netflix up.
That's why they booked you off work till the end of April. It's not to go shopping.
Yeah.
So why do you not have your boot on? Explain yourself.
It just gets too sore eventually, like it, pressure builds up in there.
Can you not just loosen the boot?
Yeah, still, just anything that's touching the foot is sore. It's very delicate.
Tell us about your night last night. What kind of a night did you have?
Okay, last night, well, around about midnight there's an earthquake. Magnitude 4. I was watching YouTube on the phone and the whole bed started shaking.
I slept through it,
You slept through it.
which is a miracle because I don't sleep well.
And then the neighbours, a few houses down, at a party.
I did not sleep through that. That woke me.
But they must have had a massive subwoofer outside because it was just heard.
That bass was ridiculous.
Yeah.
They have parties sometimes, but it was never that bad.
Yeah. And what else? I was thunder, lightning, torrential rain.
So what time did you get to sleep?
So, well, and my foot was so sore the whole night because I overdid it. So, 5 a.m. finally fell asleep out of exhaustion, and then I think I woke up about 1 p.m. So that's my story, and it's not looking good again tonight because I'm already starting to hurt. It's the end of week 2, and I'll show you my foot. It's still swollen and still discolored. Here's what it looks like at the moment. You can see it's quite a lot pinker than the white one on the right, and I still got a bit of bruising. This is from where the log hit my foot and scraped the skin off. Still quite swollen. So one thing I can do now, this week I've started being able to put my foot on the floor very lightly. Wasn't able to do that on the first week. And I still got, my toes don't go to the floor or anything like that. There's quite a big gap because I'm really putting little pressure on. Anything more is a bit too sore and scary. What I am struggling with is sleep. This week and the first week I've hardly had any sleep. It's not that it's sore. The first few days was really sore, but now it's just the discomfort. It's a strange feeling. As the day progresses, I wake up in the morning and you know it's fine, but as the day progresses my foot gets more and more uncomfortable. That's the word I can use. It feels like there's something constricting it, especially around my toes. It feels like I've got elastic bands around my toes and it's impossible to sleep. So yep, that's my life at the moment. Normally in bed at about midnight, and then I don't know, 3, 4, 5 a.m. I finally fall asleep and I get about 6 hours sleep, 7 hours sleep. Also noticing some muscle loss on my left calf. Not that I've got the biggest calves in the world, but that one, the left one's definitely looking a little smaller. This week I also started putting a bit of pressure on the walking boot with the crutches, only about 5% pressure, just to get my foot used to touching the ground again. And we actually went into town to do a bit of shopping, and I walked around the shops, you know, putting pressure on the foot, but I think I paid for it that night because it was sore, pretty sore, so maybe it's not as ready as I thought to put pressure on. But at least now I can rest the foot on the floor in the walking boot and without the boot on. I'm still on full dose painkillers, and I'm also most of the day elevating my foot. I sit in the lounge with my foot up on the table, and that definitely seems to help with the pain. Okay, this week I've also started doing some weights for my upper body.
Isn't leaning your whole body on your arms 24/7 enough?
No.
For your crutches.
I use the stool again, and I put my weights here in the passage.
The stool's for everything.
Yeah, and then this is, bring them here, bring them here. I do wear gloves normally, anyway, so I can pull these up, and there we go, that's my position. Can support my body pretty well. I can do my weights. I've also started doing showering instead of bathing this week, so that's pretty cool. So it's easier to wash your hair and stuff. So I'll show you that, the technique for getting into the shower. This stool is my best friend at the moment. I take it everywhere I go.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is how I do it. Position it here. I position it so that the door opens. There we go. There we go. So that's about it, and then I can get undressed, take off my boot.
Which you're not gonna get undressed, hopefully.
And then I can kneel on here and step into the shower, and there I'm in. And there's a bit of a balancing trick on one leg in the shower, but it's not very slippery, so I feel quite safe. And then once I'm finished, I can shift and get back out.
Cool.
There we go.
There you have it.
I've also started doing pull-ups. So that's what I do. Yep. I've already done them, so I won't show you more. And then lastly, I've been doing some bicycles. Just to get some movement going in my leg, and also to give me some stomach exercise. I do that for a minute. Here's the amount of tablets I'm taking in the morning, and in the evening it's a similar amount. Mostly all different types of vitamins, and there's a few painkillers or pain meds in there too. Okay, it's the end of the third week, and there's been some improvement. It's still swollen and discoloured and bruised. You can still see my toes are quite swollen. And the side. Yeah, this week my sleeping improved. I think because the swelling has gone down a little bit, so I didn't have the discomfort that I had before, where it feels like your toes are being tied, or something's restricting your toes. That's what it feels like. So yeah, I was doing well. I had about 2 or 3 good nights this week. Okay, it's the end of week 4, and this week I feel I made some more progress with the healing, and just with the whole outlook I feel a bit better, realizing that things are improving and I don't feel as down as I did for the first 3 weeks. I see a way forward, I think, so feeling a lot better, and my sleeping's a bit better. I don't get as much of the tingling and the pins and needles and the restrictive feeling in my toes anymore, so that's good. I'll show you what my foot's looking like. Bruising hasn't gone down as much as I would have expected, but obviously that takes a while. Get the light properly. And what I've noticed is this toe is quite swollen, not like bulge, but it doesn't feel like it's broken or anything when the log must have hit that, or if that's just part of the whole swelling. Why is it showing so, I look so white in this? I sit on the other couch, I think. What's another weird thing is, if I haven't touched my foot for a while, I get a real sore, sharp pain right in here. And if I start massaging it, I can massage that away. It's almost like a tingling sensation in there. So either, I don't know if it's part of nerve damage, or maybe it's just a build-up of toxins or something because I'm not using my feet. Maybe they end up in your toes, I don't know. But I just have to massage it away and then it's fine. So I'm able to rest my foot quite hard on the ground now. And I've started testing the walking boot without crutches, so I can do that for short periods of time, walking slowly. Move couches to get a better light. Still quite bruised. Still swollen, still discoloured a bit. It's almost like a lack of blood going to it. Anyway, there we go. End of week 4. I think the biggest change is my sleeping, and I'm feeling more positive that things are now healing. Supposedly I'm another 4 weeks in the boot, and then I don't know what after that. Probably slowly walking back in proper shoes, I don't know. Here's a quick tip I picked up on the internet about putting a boot on. So when you strap yourself in, you strap it from the bottom up, so you get your foot positioned nicely first, and then once you're done all the way to the top, then you start at the bottom again and just tighten it a little bit. You'll feel you get a lot more tightness and security. So that's my quick tip, just to do a second one from bottom to top at the end, just to retighten. Okay, this week, this is my progress with walking. I can put a bit of weight on.
I'm just laughing because I know you're going to be tempted to overdo it.
No, can't put like full weight on there yet. Right, it's the end of week 5 and I've made quite a bit of progress this week. I started off at the beginning of the week trying to walk without the crutches and really just hobbling around, putting a little bit of pressure on my foot in the walking boot at a time, and throughout the week I used my walking boot more and more, and now it's actually quite comfortable walking in the walking boot. I don't have any more pain. Pretty much crutchless, or using no crutches anymore, and wow, what a difference that makes. It's opened up my world. I feel like a free man again, or independent man should I say, and I'm able to carry things and walk normally. What I did notice in the beginning is when I first put my weight on my foot in the walking boot, there's like quite a sharp pain up my ankle, from my heel up to my ankle, but that's not where the bone broke, so I don't know what that was. Maybe that's just the nerves. And once I stood on that for a bit, that pain disappeared, and then I was able to then use the boot or the foot normally. This is how it's looking, my foot at the moment. Still got some bruising, that doesn't seem to go away. If it focuses. Okay. is I don't have really that tingling feeling in my toes anymore. I can still feel a bit over there when I press it. Yeah, it's still in there actually, but it goes away when I start walking. With my 2 feet together, I can obviously move this one. I can't really move that one sideways. I'm still mostly, well actually yeah, I'm always sleeping with the walking boot on at night. I sleep with it in the bed. I tried a few times already to sleep without the walking boot on, and just the pressure of the duvet and even the pressure on the mattress, just to the foot on the mattress, is too sore, so I find it more comfortable sleeping with the walking boot on, and I get a proper night's sleep that way. Beginning of the week I was just doing a little hobble like this. Wasn't actually taking my foot all the way through, but now I can pretty much walk on it, and I can go right through with the gate. And it feels so good to be able to walk again. And I can use my hands and pick up things and carry things. I don't have to ask anyone to carry things for me.
You can carry your own plate.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for this day.
Okay, it's the end of week 6 and I've had some improvements this week with my foot. I've started walking in the house very slowly without the moon boot on, or the walking boot. That's made a bit of a difference to like getting into the shower and the bath. I no longer need to use the stool. I can very carefully step into the bath or shower. So that's made a big difference, and I'll show you what it's looking like. Okay, this is what it's looking like. Bruising's going slowly. That's good. The other thing I started doing this week with the walking boot off, I've started doing a bit of stretching exercises. I mean, the first day I hardly moved it, but end of the week now I'm able to move it pretty much side to side and around. The only place that it feels a bit of discomfort is in my ankle. So it's got like a bit of soreness in the ankle. I'm wondering if that's just because the ankle hasn't moved for 5 weeks. It's in the same position, so now that I'm moving it, it's not used to it. So I'll show you the difference on feet. This, when my right foot I can push forward and then I can bend my toes forward, but the left foot I can push forward but the toes don't bend. I've got no control of my toes for the bending, and especially this toe here, this one seems to just stick out. It doesn't do any bending. I mean, they can bend, but I can't move them myself. And then bending backwards, the same story. I can bend, but then my toes don't really bend. That's a bit weird. I'm presuming I'll get that movement back eventually. When I put them on the ground, it does feel a bit strange walking on my left foot, because all along here these toes don't touch the ground. There's a quite a big gap underneath there. You know, normally your toes touch. So that feels weird when you walk. It doesn't reach there anymore. I don't know what. That I'm hoping that will come right eventually. I've also started sleeping without the boot on for a few nights this week, and that was quite good. Last night I slept with it on again because I think I overdid it slightly with the boot off, walking around, and so it was a bit tender, so I put the boot on for sleeping last night. But other than that, I've had most nights this week with the boot off in bed. Okay, this is how I started off the week, just hobbling like this, not really bending this foot. But now towards the end of the week I'm able to do a slow walk with my foot. There we go.
You happy that you can walk now?
Yeah, I'm going to put my boot back on there because you can only do a bit a day. Each day I do a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, end of week 7, and this week I've had the boot off all week. No more walking in the boot, no more sleeping in the boot. Mainly having trainers on, which are a bit of cushioning for my foot, otherwise still a bit tender. Here's what it's looking like. I think the bruising's gone now, actually. Yeah, that's good. Got a bit more movement in my toes. I can start bending my toes a bit. Left foot toes do all funny things when I try to push the toes down, as opposed to that. I've got quite a lot of movement. No longer sore. The thing I've been trying is raising up on my foot. Obviously I can do it on my right foot quite easily. My left foot I haven't got that strength there, so I have to support it. I've also started doing a bit of exercising. You can kind of jog on the spot or jumping jacks very gently. Bit easier to walk now. It's the end of week 8 and not too much to report on improvement wise, except I went for my follow-up x-ray this week and the doctor rang me today to say he's not happy with the results. That doesn't look like it's improving as much as they hoped, and so I have to go see a orthopedic specialist to see what they suggest. I'll insert both the before and after x-rays so you can have a look to see. Looks like the bones have fused, but they're still very skew, so I don't know what the story is there. For the last 2 weeks I've been walking without the walking boot, and now the doctor says he wants me back in the walking boot, so that's no good. A bit frustrating. I feel like I'm taking a backward step in my recovery. And there's my foot. I'm kind of getting my movement back. One thing I've noticed, this, I'm not sure if I mentioned before, probably this big toe doesn't bend forward like this. I mean, I think I've mentioned this before, it pushes forward, but oh well. So once I know what the specialist says, then we'll see what's going to happen. I'm hoping that just maybe a few more weeks in the moon boot is necessary.
Grant's just waiting for his form inside, but excellent news. The doctor says it's healing perfectly. There's nothing more they need to do. He has no restrictions. He can do whatever he wants on it. He can jump on it. He can do anything. He doesn't have to wear the boot, and there's absolutely no reason to think he should ever need surgery because it's healing perfectly. So that's really good news. And he was kind of worrying about disappointment and what they were going to say, and so you're happy now?
I'm very happy. Wow, all that extra worrying for nothing. Hey, you were correct, Jen. Yep, you were right.
Bonus. Got that on camera. I was right. No, you were actually right to be exercising on it. I was stressing out because he was doing like P90X and jumping on this broken foot, and I was like, are you actually insane? But the doctor says he can do that now, so it's been 3 months.
So I've started eating correctly now. I can add a bit of exercise. I'm going to be...
You'll be running with me soon.
Fit Joe again.
Yeah, Grant's very sad because he's gained a bunch of weight while he was out of action. So it's been a year, actually by the time we're finally filming this clip, it's been a year and 2-3 months since you broke foot. And how is it feeling now?
It's almost perfect, I think.
Do you have any pain or can you feel anything different?
So the only real difference now with my foot is my little toe doesn't touch the ground anymore. If you can see, I can actually get my finger under there. Even this toe is a bit. They need to be down.
So is that you
compared to-
pressing your foot as hard as possible?
Yeah, if I press down, this one goes down, but this doesn't.
And does that affect you in any way?
Only if I'm without shoes on, I'm barefoot and doing yoga or something like that, and I'm having to balance on that foot. You lose a bit of your balance there because you don't have that support with it. But when I've got shoes on, I don't notice it at all.
So no lasting effects that you have, like pain-wise or discomfort or anything?
And I do a lot of tennis, a lot of squash, so those are all like quite sharp movements, left and right, and I can do hours of that, and I don't get pain or anything. So if I do this, I can feel it's kind of a clicking in there, like soft clicking. I don't know what that is. Tissue, bone, I don't know.
Ligaments or something?
Yeah, maybe just ligaments. And also, if I'm doing a lot of sport, like a lot of tennis or squash.
And when you say a lot, you were playing tennis every single night, and you were playing tennis all weekend?
Yeah, if I do a few hours of sport, then I do. That night I'm in bed and I feel it's like a low ache, but nothing serious. Just it's almost as if your muscles. If you've done a lot of sport and your muscles are a bit sore.
So more discomfort than pain.
Yeah, it's not.
And do you have a full range of movement that you like besides the toe not going down?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know if this toe also doesn't bend anymore like this one.
Even though the break was on the opposite side.
Yeah, but maybe the whole log that came down maybe damaged that toe also. But yeah, that's the only thing. It's just re-healed up instead of down.
And do you want to talk about weight gain? Because I know that was a concern when you broke your foot and you were like, I'm not going to sit on the couch and gain loads of weight. What happened?
And I did.
How much weight did you gain?
How much? About 6 kilos, I think.
I'll put that on the screen in pounds.
Yeah.
And so in the years since, have you lost that weight?
Yeah, I've lost that weight. So, I mean, I think the last 6 months I've been back to normal, haven't I? Yeah. So I was out of action, couldn't play any sports or anything for 8 months or whatever. Yeah.
So the moral of the story is there is life after a broken foot.
Yeah.
It was a long journey, or it felt long at times. It was quite miserable in the beginning, but he's done pretty well, and as you can see, he's made pretty much a full recovery. I did want to mention that he was taking high doses of vitamin C and also a magnesium calcium supplement as well to help with his bones healing. I think he was also taking a probiotic just to kind of help his stomach a little bit with the anti-inflammatories that he had been taking for pain in the beginning. I hope you found this video helpful. If you've broken your foot, I'm so sorry that happened to you. That sucks, but hopefully you can find some of these tips helpful, and I wish you speedy healing. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.